All right, we are currently in Elk City, Oklahoma for the night. We are going from Elk City, Oklahoma to Russellville, Arkansas tomorrow. Then from Russellville, Arkansas, we are going to Bastrop, Louisiana to our new home on Saturday. So we're in the final leg. We have less than 600 miles to go. This is Nana, by the way, who is really, really done with this travel thing. She wants to sleep and play and sleep some more. We have had some minor sad news. We've had some minor, oh, are you kidding me, with a hotel owner. So it's been kind of interesting. First, the house news. They went out to turn on the electricity for us today prior to us getting there on Saturday because the office closed today at 11:45 a.m. and won't be open until Monday. And they, even though they had told us they knew the meter was taken off, apparently they did not keep note of that. And there is some kind of problem with the breaker box. Well, my question was, how do you know there's a problem with the breaker box since you can't get into the house? And in discussions with my sister-in-law, who has been through this kind of a situation, she thinks it might be the breaker box that is out on the pole that breaks the feed off of the main line that goes into your home, into your houses. So we're going to have to get an electrician out there to take a peek at that. And there's Titi laying over there. She's sleeping like another little bookend. So we called our realtor, Kathy Hannibal, in Monroe, Louisiana, and she has a guy who is a contractor who she's going to see if he will go out and take a look at it for us, just to give us an idea of what we need to do in order to get electricity into our house. And when we arrive on Saturday, we're not overly concerned with not having any power quite yet, at least for the next foreseeable future, because we do have a generator with us. So we'll be able to get, power to the house if we need it for a period of time. I don't know what all that's going to take, but we'll have to see. The problem we had with the hotel owner happened night before last at a little hotel in Grants, Grants, New Mexico. I think New Mexico. It was a cute little historic hotel. Built in the 1950s on Route 66. So it had a little bit of history. We were kind of charmed with it at first until, Grants, Arizona, as my husband's reminding me. And we went in, he only had one room, and it had 2 full-size beds in it. The beds were terrible. They were lumpy. They were horrible. My back killed me for the rest of the day. After sleeping there, we'll say sleeping. He had 2 wingback chairs in there that the legs were broken on. We couldn't even sit on them. We had moved them out from the wall so that we could try to play a card game and eat burgers that we had gotten. And the legs were completely wonkified. They wouldn't stay underneath the chairs and so on and so forth. The bathroom door was about 2 foot wide. And the top hinge was loose so that it sagged in the frame. And when I lifted it and closed it so I could go in there and use said facilities, I got trapped. I was trapped in the bathroom and had to have my beloved son shove the door open, like put a shoulder against it, give it a heave. So, or I'd still be trapped in the bathroom. I mean, it was closed pretty hard. And so I got a nasty email from him when we left. We are traveling, as you know, with our 5 dogs, 4 Pomskis and then Keezy, who's a lab mix. And he was very upset that we let the dogs pee all over the room and pee all over the coverlet and make a mess. And he was very upset and disappointed at how we treated him and his facilities. And I told him, yes, my dogs did pee 3 times on your floor, which I cleaned up with the cleanser and the paper towels that we had gotten from you to make sure that we could keep it clean. Before we left, we had made sure that it was cleaned up, and we had also had independently purchased Lysol and other cleaning products to make sure the room was clean before we left. The coverlet, which he was very upset was in the sink in the bathroom because apparently we tried to clean it without telling him what happened. When he gave the cleanser to us, we sat it on the bed while we moved some things to get it set over on the table, and it spilled because the lid was very loose on it. And it had spilled all over the coverlet, and it was now covered in chemicals. When we checked out, I went over and I was going to give him the key and tell him all of these issues. And he was on the phone, and he said, I'll take the key from you. And I said, well, I have some things to discuss. He said, no, have a great trip. I'll talk with you later. And he turned around and walked away. He didn't even give me a chance to talk with him. And I told him this after he sent me the nasty email. And he sent me pictures. And this is the part that got me. He sent me a picture of where there was a wet spot on the floor from the cleanser. Yes, okay. He sent me another picture where the dog didn't pee and there was nothing on it. And then he sent me a picture of a pink rug, which the rug in the room that we were in was all black and gray. So that rug wasn't even our room. And he was upset because it was all stained. And I'm like, so I addressed all of this back in an email to him. And I told him, I said, no, we cleaned it. The room was pretty good when we left. And they wrote back, his assistant wrote back and said, we're not interested in discussing this with you, especially since your dog's destroyed our room. Just pay, this is the whole justification, the whole crux of the matter, I think is the word. They had taken $100 pet deposit from us when we went, which is fine. I expect that. I am traveling with dogs after all. They wanted another $100 for the mess that the dogs left in the room, which again, we had cleaned. And that picture with the pink carpet wasn't even our room. But they wanted us to pay for that room to be cleaned as well. No, I'm not gonna take care of somebody else's mess, period. So we had rented it through Airbnb. I contacted Airbnb and I said, I have no problem paying to clean anything that we had left dirty. I have absolutely no problem with that. I'll pay it. Except we cleaned the room, number one. And number two, he's trying to say we're responsible for a room that's not even ours. So I'm currently waiting on an outcome of that. Other than that, it was a very cute little room. The location was sketchy, but it was right there on the main drag of Route 66. And there was some suspicious activity. Somebody tried to peep in the peephole in the door a couple times and peep in like where the curtains were cracked. When you bring them together in the middle, there's a little crack. Somebody had walked by a couple times and was looking in. I couldn't sleep because the bed was so uncomfortable. And so I was awake for those two particular situations. Who knows what happened when we were sleeping. Other than that, today's run, beautiful. The hotel we stayed at last night, which was a Motel 6, that was in Tucumcari. It was lovely, beautiful. The people were amazing. They gave us connecting rooms. One of them was a handicap room. I told them, hey, I got dogs. They said, no problem. I said, I have a couple that are not handling the trip very well. I've got a couple that have gotten sick. I have one who is battling with some pee issues. They said, no problem, clean up before you leave. Have a good time, bye. And so when I went and checked out, I said, hey, this is what happened. And they said, did you clean it up? And I said, oh yeah, we wiped it up. Plus we Lysoled everything before we left because we know that can sometimes be an issue. And they said, awesome, thank you, have a great day. See you later. So, only the one gentleman has given us any grief. Prior to that, we had stayed in Flagstaff at La Quinta by Wyndham. We were there for 3 days. 3 days? 3 nights? I can't remember which. 3 nights. I think it was 3 nights and 4 days. And they left us a glowing review about how we cleaned the room after we left and how quiet our dogs were and how great it was to have us. So I don't know what got into this gentleman's bonnet. I wish him well, and I hope that whatever made him so sad and tried to charge us for a room that's not ours, I hope that it rectifies for him soon. But other than that, we're having a pretty decent journey. And today the weather was gorgeous. I will post a couple pictures that I took over in the commentary / community portion of YouTube so that you guys can see those, because they're beautiful, beautiful pictures. And I will catch you next time. Bye.